Once celebrated as the beating heart of American industry, Detroit's story is one of breathtaking rise, profound decline, and hopeful resurgence. To understand what happened to Detroit, we must journey back more than a century, to a time when the city was a magnet for dreamers, innovators, and workers from across the nation and around the world. The story of Detroit is, in many ways, a story of America itself, its ambitions, its triumphs, its setbacks, and its enduring spirit. In the early 20th century, Detroit became synonymous with the automobile. It was here that pioneering figures like Henry Ford revolutionized manufacturing, introducing the moving assembly line and making the automobile affordable for ordinary Americans. This innovation transformed not only the auto industry, but also the city itself. People flocked to Detroit for jobs that promised middle-class wages and a path into the American dream. By 1950, Detroit's population swelled to 1.85 million, making it the fourth largest city in the United States. Its streets bustled with life, its neighborhoods were filled with vibrant communities, and its skyline shimmered with the promise of prosperity. But the very forces that built Detroit would also sow the seeds of its decline. As the decades wore on, the auto industry underwent sweeping changes. In pursuit of efficiency and lower costs, manufacturers moved production to the suburbs and eventually to other states and countries. The factories that once anchored Detroit's neighborhoods began to close, leaving vacant lots and abandoned buildings in their wake. The loss of jobs rippled through the city, undermining its economic foundation. At the same time, broader social and demographic shifts were reshaping Detroit. The phenomenon known as white flight, the movement of white residents to the suburbs, accelerated after World War II, fueled in part by changing racial dynamics, suburbanization policies, and the lure of new housing developments outside the city. As families and businesses left, Detroit's tax base eroded, making it harder to fund public services and maintain infrastructure. Schools, parks, and transit systems suffered, and the city's once grand boulevards fell into disrepair. The population decline was staggering. From its peak in 1950, Detroit's population fell by more than 60%, dropping below 700,000 by 2015. Once a city of nearly 2 million, Detroit found itself outside the top 20 largest U.S. cities for the first time since the mid-19th century. The cityscape, once dense and lively, became marked by empty lots, crumbling buildings, and a sense of loss. Economic challenges were compounded by other factors. Political mismanagement and corruption scandals eroded trust in city leadership. Racial tensions occasionally boiled over, most notably in the 1967 uprising, which left deep scars on the city's psyche and physical fabric. Meanwhile, the global auto industry continued to evolve, with foreign competition and automation reducing the number of jobs available in Detroit's signature sector. By the early 21st century, Detroit's challenges had reached a crisis point. In 2013, the city filed for the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history, facing billions of dollars in debt and unfunded liabilities. Headlines around the world declared Detroit a symbol of American decline, a city abandoned by industry, battered by economic forces, and left to grapple with the aftermath. Yet, even in the depths of its struggles, Detroit's story was not over. The city's resilience and determination began to shine through, as residents, businesses, and civic leaders launched efforts to revitalize their home. In recent years, Detroit has become a laboratory for urban renewal, innovation, and hope. One of the most powerful symbols of Detroit's Renaissance is the Michigan Central Station. Once an opulent gateway for travelers arriving by train, the station had stood abandoned since 1988, its grand architecture a haunting reminder of former glory. In 2018, however, Ford Motor Company acquired the building, investing nearly $1 billion to restore and repurpose it as a center for innovation in mobility. When the station reopened in June 2024, it stood not just as a transformed landmark, but as a beacon of the city's enduring potential, a testament to what can be achieved when a community rallies together. Detroit's downtown has also witnessed dramatic changes. The site of the former J.L. Hudson's flagship store, once a hub of retail activity, is now home to the ambitious Hudson's Detroit project. With a $1.4 billion investment, the development features a 12-story office building and a 45-floor hotel and residential skyscraper. The project is set to welcome General Motors' global headquarters in 2025, signaling renewed confidence in the city's future as a center for business and innovation. But Detroit's revival is not limited to grand buildings and big corporations. Grassroots efforts and community organizations have played a crucial role in breathing new life into neighborhoods, restoring parks, and supporting local entrepreneurs. Initiatives like the Joe Louis Greenway, an ambitious network of parks and trails, are knitting together communities, providing spaces for recreation and connection, and showcasing the city's commitment to a greener, more inclusive future. Detroit's transformation is still a work in progress. Challenges remain, from economic inequality to the need for better public services and schools. But the city's trajectory has shifted. Where once there was only decline and despair, there is now momentum, an energy fueled by creativity, determination, and a belief in the power of reinvention. The story of what happened to Detroit is ultimately a story of change. It is a tale of how economic shifts, demographic trends, policy decisions, and global forces can reshape a city. But it is also a story of how people, through vision, collaboration, and hard work, can reclaim their city's destiny. Detroit's journey reminds us that urban decline is not inevitable, nor is it permanent. Cities can be reborn, and new chapters can be written. As Detroit continues to evolve, it stands as a powerful example of resilience, innovation, and the enduring spirit of its people, a city that, against all odds, is rising once again.